In 2006, the New Horizons spacecraft sped from Earth toward the outer frontiers of the solar system. 13 years and 4 billion miles later, it has completed the first ever flyby of a small Kuiper Belt object. No other mission has explored a world so far away, or one that hadn't even been discovered when it was launched. Happy New Year. We're live from the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory in Laurel, Maryland, home of NASA's New Horizons mission. Now, the spacecraft was out of contact about 10 hours ago when it flew by Ultima Thule, and this morning, we await the call home to let us know that all is well. Now, last night was about celebration. Hundreds of mission team members, family and friends, marking a new year and the moment of close approach. The house was absolutely rocking with the debut of a special New Horizons song from Brian May, astrophysicist, New Horizons contributing scientist, and guitarist from the legendary group Quay. Now, this morning is about confirmation. Because New Horizons is moving faster than 30,000 miles an hour, even the smallest space debris could do serious damage. Now, did New Horizons survive its flight into the unknown? And is it ready to begin beaming back the data that will reveal Ultima as an entirely new world? Joining me is Mark Holdridge. He's the New Horizons Academy Mission Manager from Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab. Mark, it seems like we've been here before. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Seems like yesterday.
It seems we've been here before 3 years and 3 billion miles ago when New Horizons flew by Pluto.
That's right.
Now, your job, I guess the first thing too, we casually call this the phone home moment, right? But tell us seriously, what are we waiting for? What are we watching for?
So the New Horizons spacecraft's taking a brief break from its departure, its outbound science gathering, to report in and basically give us some hint of its status in terms of how well it's doing and how well the flyby went.
Okay, we talk about you're going to hear some terms and hear some things happening as we go into mission operations. Tell us what we're listening for. What are some of the things we're going to hear from Mission Operations Manager Alice Bowman and what they mean?
So the signal, after it hits the Earth, it's going to be coming compliments of the tracking station in Madrid, Spain. And they have receivers there at the station that'll be looking for the signal, trying to pull it out. And initially, they'll be looking for carrier and try to lock on the carrier from the spacecraft. That's the signal coming down. And eventually lock on to the data stream, which will then be translated into the data that the subsystem engineers will be looking at in the mock.
Okay, so when we hear certain things like carrier or lock, I mean, we should be listening for, that's, I guess, the different steps of, I guess, the ground contacting and hooking up with the spacecraft. Yeah,
there's a handshaking that takes place, so to speak, between the spacecraft and the ground system.
And we'll be watching this for, we think about 10:29, 10:30 is when the earliest that can happen.
Yeah, so around 10:30, I think, is when we should see the acquisition of signal.
Okay, we talk about that signal. We've been saying throughout the week, as we've talked about the farthest exploration ever, 4.1 billion miles away. How long does it take that signal from that distance to reach Earth from the spacecraft?
Right. Presently, it's a little over 6 hours one way to get the signal. So everything that we're seeing at this moment actually happened about 6 hours ago.
So, I mean, if we had to track that signal, I mean, that's long gone. It's right about. I mean, we're getting close to having that here. Yep. You're responsible. You led the team as mission manager to make sure that New Horizons got where it needed to be, where it needed to be at the time it needed to be there. I'm going to show an image that we put out yesterday. This was one of the last images that came from New Horizons before the flyby. It basically shows a couple of pixels. I mean, probably one of the bigger looks that we had of Ultima leading into the flyby. The scientists will look at these and they'll get information about the object itself, but your team had been using images like this, in fact, with less information to do your job. Explain how you guys did that.
Now, about 100 days ago, we were able to start detecting the signal, start picking up Ultima Thule out of the star background using images similar to this. However, it was really one pixel, and that was hard pixel to get, actually. We had to take a number of images and co-add them and to really pull it out of the background. And then we've been tracking its motion relative to the stars using the onboard camera on New Horizons to refine our estimate of the relative trajectories of the spacecraft and Ultima Thule.
So, I mean, you mentioned pull the background. I mean, even finding Ultima was a challenge. I mean, knowing to get that target beyond Pluto, because it's just one of the busiest, the most crowded star fields in the sky to pull that out. And you had that challenge in trying to find Ultima in those first images.
Yes. I mean, Pluto, of course, we were able to see almost a year in advance with the same camera. But with Ultima Thule, we had to wait until the final 100 days or so before it was bright enough for us to be able to pick it up.
And we're looking at, when we see the image, that there's processing that has to happen here too. I mean, you're looking at like the raw image on the one side, and then you see the process to get something out of it.
Right.
It seems like all the teams had to do something like that.
Yeah, the navigation team has folks that are specialized in processing these optical navigation images and then refining the orbit estimates. And so we have a very collaborative environment with 2 navigation teams and also members of the science team that supported the effort.
Okay, you were a mission operations manager. Led several other APL missions to go to various places across the solar system. Who's in the mission operations center? When we go back and show mission operations, who's in there? Who should we be watching for?
So you'll see Alice. She's the mission operations manager in the mission operations center, as well as her team, which are subsystem experts as well as flight controllers that are responsible for sending the commands to the spacecraft, as well as looking at data coming from the spacecraft and the ground system, and of course working any kinds of anomalies or contingency situations.
So the plan's in place. You guys made your decision. Tell me a little bit what's going on in that room right now.
I think there's a lot of anxious people staring at a screen. The numbers aren't moving yet, but at some point they're going to start getting some information from the Madrid tracking station, and they're just going to be very anxiously watching that screen to look for the signal to lock up and let us know that New Horizons survived the flyby.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, instead of us talking, why don't we just go to mission operations now and listen in, and let's just watch and see what happens.
Sounds good.
So we'll be able to show you too. We'll see signals on the screen. I mean, there's a change in numbers and colors as the signal starts coming in, and that telemetry starts ending up on the screens.
Right. Yeah. There's like a sequence of events that take place that's very standard. This is a standard track. It's a very important track, a very important contact with the spacecraft, but it's a routine process that they go through. They're very, very familiar with. So about 2 more minutes.
Right. Anxiety, nerves, anything else that's happening in that room, right?
Yeah, a little of that.
So you see
that's Alice, the operations manager, and Carl is her deputy, Carl Wittenberg.
So don't worry, and you had mentioned earlier that you had mentioned too that the signals are coming back from the spacecraft through NASA's Deep Space Network Station in Madrid.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
When they go through the checklist for these things and to figure out what's going to happen next, they're going to establish these signals, and then what is Alice going to do?
So once they get a solid lock on the data, then those screens will start lighting up with information, and those team members will look at their areas of expertise. It might be guidance and control or communications, and they'll look at those and try to get, surmise what the status of each of those subsystems is in real time, and eventually they'll be polled and report that status to the operations manager, and then she'll report that status to the PI, Alan.
Okay, so let's go back to watch. So you're watching the screen.
Yeah.
We've seen that look for many other maneuvers and other activities.
Yes.
We should also point out too, right, that it's also, it can take time for that signal in the order of when things are coming down for it to show up.
It has to work its way through the receivers and through the networks and make it from Madrid to the operations center here at APL.
In lock with carrier. Signal strength looks good. Standing by for symbols and, oh, telemetry. Symbols lock. In lock with telemetry.
And Pluto Ace.
They're very relaxed.
Yeah. I was going to say that looked
Very much.
Subsystems, Mom on Pluto 1, please report status as you get it. All right.
This is the moment they're waiting for a status check from each of the subsystems from the spacecraft.
Alice is smiling. That's a good
That's
thing.
always a good sign, right? When Mom is smiling, it's always a good thing. Point out too, we're waiting that those status checks come in different order. It's not necessarily a set order when each system will hear. It's really
Right.
whoever comes up first. They
Yeah,
can
it's
report.
whoever got their data first, and we're not able to hear that here. Alice will summarize that momentarily.
We're talking about communications, guidance and control.
Yeah, there's
RF,
at least a
Pluto
half
one.
a dozen subsystems that are reporting in right
Go
now.
ahead, RF.
Well, the green screens will tell you, and RF is in fantastic shape.
Copy that. RF is green.
Right.
Oh, we are hearing it. That's good.
Looks like we did another one.
This is the link.
Copy. Thermal is reporting green status.
All right.
Thermal,
Thermal. So communications and thermal so far.
right?
Mom, planning.
Go ahead, planning.
Planning is good.
Copy. Planning is nominal.
Mom FC on Pluto 1.
Go ahead, FC.
FC is green, and DSN has provided fantastic support as always.
Copy.
All right.
Mom, GNC?
Go ahead, GNC.
GNC looks good.
Copy. GNC is good.
All right. So that's guidance and control.
Yep.
Mom, propulsion.
Go ahead, prop.
Propulsion is green.
Copy. Prop is green.
That's green.
Mom, power.
Go ahead, power.
Power is green.
Copy. Power green.
Mom, this is CDH on Pluto 1.
Go ahead, CNDH.
CNDH is nominal. Our SSR pointers are right where we predicted, so it looks like
Copy that. CNDH is green, and we have a good data record of Ultima Thule science.
Mom, this is autonomy.
Go ahead, autonomy.
Autonomy is nominal.
Copy. Autonomy is nominal.
Good.
Navigation. Nav, Mom, on Pluto 1, do you have status yet?
New Horizons Mom, this is Nav. No status yet. We expect that probably in the next 30 minutes or so.
30 minutes? Was that is that what you said?
That's an estimate. Yes, 30 minutes for Nav.
Copy that.
But that's about normal, right, for navigation to take
Yes.
time to make sure they're...
MSE, SSE? Do you have status?
System engineer to Mom. Status is green.
Copy that, green.
And that's overall spacecraft.
Yes. Yeah, and the SSR status is really important. That's a solid state recorder, and that tells us that we have data on the
Navigation,
spacecraft.
Mom, on Pluto 1, we are, our track is only, we only have about 10 minutes more in track, so we will get your status offline. Do you copy?
New Horizons Nav, yeah, we copy that. Thank you.
Copy that. Any more status to report?
Go ahead.
We have a healthy spacecraft. We've just accomplished the most distant flyby. We are ready for Ultima Thule science transmission at 200 UTC today. Science to help us understand the origins of our solar system.
That's it. Have you seen this before?
Yep.
Ralph Semmel, the director of the Applied Physics Laboratory. He's with Alan Stern, the principal investigator of New Horizons. Other members of mission team, mission management. Many others who were very important to the New Horizons mission. See the other people that are coming in, congratulating the team. Boy, what a, talk about just a relief too, but the sense to just going through that checklist and hearing each one of those systems come off. Being, again, a former mission operations manager, I always watch your face to see how that's going. And I say, when you pump the fist or smile, like things are looking good.
Yep, things are looking really good. Couldn't be any better.
So we go back here first. I mean, also too, let me congratulate you and your team on your work. I mean, that idea, just getting it to where it needed to go, and then hearing that the recorders are full. Wow, the idea that you got it and got the goods.
It's a great day. Happy New Year.
What happens next now? They got this. So we have confirmation the spacecraft is in great shape. It has all of its data. What's going to happen next?
The spacecraft's going to go back to doing what it was doing. It's going to continue gathering outbound science and focus on that for the time being. And then it is going to pass behind the sun in conjunction for a period of a couple of days. So we will have to pause some communications and playback. But over the course of the year, the science data will continue to stream in. We'll keep getting better and better information on this really awesome object. So far, we've only seen 3 pixels of.
Right, and except we'll see more as we go, and then we'll be getting pictures and other data over the next couple of days. The conjunction you're mentioning when New Horizons flies behind the sun happens, about this weekend for a few days, and then the data starts coming back down, and over 20 months. The entire package from Ultima Thule, and goes from being revealed from this small dot into a real world, the likes of which we've never seen before.
Right.
Wow, amazing thing. Congratulations to the New Horizons team, too. We're going to let that team make its way from mission operations here into the auditorium, and it'll take them several minutes to do that. So we're going to sign off here, and we're asking everybody first to keep following us on the web and on social media. We are on nasa.gov. We are on Pluto.jhuapl.edu. We're on various other social media channels, and check the Pluto page for links to all the different channels and the live streams, both on the APL YouTube channels and on NASA TV. If you're going to join us on social media, use the hashtags Ultima Thule, Ultima Flyby, Ask NASA, and Ask New Horizons. We'll be back at 11:30 here live on NASA TV for a press briefing on status with some of the last images New Horizons took before the flyby. So for Mark Holdridge, I'm Mike Buckley. Thank you for watching. Congratulations, and keep exploring with New Horizons.
Go New Horizons.